Hi, my name's David Geddis, and I'd like to talk again about our water issues here in Pinellas County. Most of us are aware that our commissioners now added the fluoride back into our water, and we need to take a look at maybe possibilities as to what they're really doing. The hydrofluorosilicic acid that they're adding to the water, we need to concentrate on this end of the word, because our water delivery lines need to be kept clean, and maybe this is what they're really after, as far as making sure that we have a clean delivery of water, even though that the fluoride may complicate health issues. The knowledge of the issue today in 2012 is that we probably are at a stage where we need to drink bottled water for safety reasons. We also need to take notice of the indifference towards mercury at play in our water. It's omitted on our consumer confidence report. We need to take notice that our supply and rate has been removed from our water access. Our liberty has been removed from our water access using Supreme Court case 96332. Our water access now is considered a privilege and an opportunity based on this reclaimed water facility private occupation being underwritten on our utility. The reclaimed water facility uses a fee simple title application to benefit this non-utility underwriter. They're literally taking the title to the land out from underneath our homes. You need to read Resolution 95-286, Section 4, C-2, Ordinance 97-103, Section 126-509A, Statute 170-09, and Statute 380.08. You're no longer a homesteader. You own the home, and this private industry has been given legal rights to levy upon your home value for stormwater recharge mechanisms and impact offsets I'll get to in a minute. The Reclaimed Water Variance application challenges the natural law of religion. It literally blasphemes the religious aspects of water, saying that you literally owe your religious convictions, your health and safety and welfare is the result of the hardships involved on this reclaimed water variance. We need to take notice of that. Your essential water is now labeled domestic water. The nitrates irrigated in the air from this reclaimed water they're transmitted at fatal levels. Reclaimed water can cause cyanosis. It affects your hemoglobins and is fatal. It'll kill you. Comprehensively, I feel as though our water resource here has been demagogued for political, private political objective, a private federal advancing of objectives. Development here belligerently analogued or juxtaposed the truth against what's been meditated in the model water code here, Maloney's water code, which is the basis of all of our water law here. Serves as a foundation for the Resource Act of 1972 and Statute 373 of the Florida State Statutes. But as Pinellas County was developed, the Resource Act of 1972 omitted half of Maloney's water code here. Community deed restrictions, which are watering requirements. They exhausted our vital groundwater resource and created a non-discriminatory form of water prejudice. Now that our water, as we are seeing, it has been exhausted. what's taken place is these watering restrictions have been used to formulate appropriation rights in order to privatize or stake a riparian statehood upon the property on that which you own and you signed away in a variance application. Now, we also need to take note of this Reclaim Water House Bill 639. In here, underneath this governor's authority to act in an emergency, it says that our personhood or property, our personhood is property of a citizen. I'll read that again. Our personhood is property of any citizen. Now, I didn't understand what I was reading, but as I read this Maloney's Water Code, based on the 14th Amendment, underneath this 14th Amendment, that our personhood may become property of this contrived federal invocation, and that our personhood, being property, may be destroyed in order to protect another form of property which is of greater value. Abraham Lincoln didn't free anybody. He federally upped the ante. You'll have to read page 80 describing this ante that I speak of here. Now, as we're being developed here in Pinellas County, we all had septic systems, and we were all mandated off of our septic systems, and they took that sewage. It was in support of sewer revenue bonds, you know. They took that sewage and they pumped it out in the intercoastal waterways and created an environmental havoc, environmental issue upon which to create this, you know, this reclaimed water invocation upon. So what we had in this diagram here, before we were completely overdeveloped in 1970, we were mainly agriculture, oranges, and farming, and we had ample groundwater reserves. We were urban, and all of our rainfall, when it hit the ground, it went into the ground. And today, as we're overdeveloped, all of our rainfall runs off. None of it gets into the ground anymore. And our groundwater is essentially gone. What our government did was create a huge tax revenue and causing a natural water crisis. So through this neglect and apathy, indifference and omission of our government, it's enabled this private industry to develop this reclaimed water irrigation. And with this reclaimed water irrigation, they're going to be requiring, as a private levy against your remaining home value, groundwater recharge devices in relation to the stormwater. Now, when we were developed in 1970, if they're basing everything on this book of code here, they cherry-picked or hen-picked the code. All of the homes should have, at that point in time, had groundwater recharge mechanisms installed on their property. But no, just quite the opposite was done. They were all installed with sprinkler systems, you know, driving our groundwater resource out of the ground and the streets, rainwater runoff, running off into the ocean. But today we're seeing this private industry wanting to levy upon your home value for groundwater recharge, stormwater mechanisms, and probably a furthering, as we can see in this Reclaim Water House Bill 639, impact offsets. Even in Maloney's Water Code here, they say that we should have taken our gray water, basically, and allowed the gray water to flow through our homes, take our shower water, further it into our laundry use, and then finally into our toilet before exhausting it out, as as final use and into our septic. What our government's done is they've developed ways of taxing us, using water as a resource. And now that our water resources is exhausted, we're going to see water rationing throughout the people. And this is not a sovereign act by our government by any means. It's quite the opposite. Creating slavery and making us property and enabling us to be able to be destroyed in order to protect another property of greater value. I believe what we have here is more than just political collusion and a bunch of politicians trying to fill their pockets with money. I believe what we have is a orchestrated war using resource deprivation as a tool. The 14th Amendment was 1858, 1857. This has been going on quite a long time. And I believe this foful intent is not by accident. And we need to understand that politically we've been, I think politically we've been robbed of resource, and either way, we need to understand it. We need to start to ration water here in the Tampa Suncoast area, and we need to change things politically here immediately. So thank you.